Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. The bold and the beautiful spoilers and updates tease Sheila Sharp might soon come to terms with the fact that a valuable chance has eluded her grasp. Fans of B&B will remember Sheila's fascination when she learned about Hope Logan's feelings for John Finnegan. Many fans anticipated that Sheila would take on the role of matchmaker, attempting to pair Hope with Finn, although she wouldn't have succeeded. It's clear that such a union would have been beneficial for Sheila if Finn and Hope had hit it off. While Hope may never fully trust Sheila, her feelings toward her are far less hostile compared to those of Steffy Forrester. Steffy has every reason to despise Sheila and likely will continue to do so indefinitely. We understand Steffy's resentment given Sheila's past actions, but this animosity complicates any chance of a relationship between Sheila and Finn. Sheila is still yearning for the one thing that eludes her, a genuine connection with her son. As long as Steffy remains Finn's wife, she will continue to act as a protective barrier, keeping Finn at a distance from Sheila. Steffy has also made it clear to Finn that allowing Sheila into his life could jeopardize their family harmony. Nevertheless, Sheila is determined not to abandon her hopes of building a relationship with Finn. It would have been much simpler if Hope were by Finn's side, so Sheila is bound to feel let down when she learns about the latest changes in their lives. The kiss that Hope shared with Finn stirred up a whirlwind of drama, leading Steffy to restrict Hope's presence around her husband. Essentially, if Sheila had any hopes of Finn and Hope becoming a couple, those prospects have significantly diminished. There's even a possibility that Sheila could catch a flirtatious moment between Hope and Carter Walton at Il Giardino. If that happens, it will be clear to her that the idea of Finn and Hope being together is nothing but a distant memory. But still, Steffy would quickly put the kibosh on anything starting up between Carter and Hope. Sheila might find herself contemplating new tactics to drive a wedge between Finn and Steffy. With her resentment towards Steffy growing due to what she perceives as an obstacle to her bond with Finn, Sheila could devise a fresh plan to disrupt their relationship. Is there a possibility that Sheila will try to steer Finn toward another love interest? Or perhaps she will maneuver Steffy closer to Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton? Alternatively, could Sheila employ an entirely different sabotage strategy? It had always been a turbulent life for Steffy Forrester, daughter of fashion moguls and a woman who carved out her own destiny. But no matter how often she found herself at the center of familial drama, none of it compared to the peril that now lurked on the horizon. Sheila Carter had returned, more dangerous and obsessive than ever. Steffy had hoped to leave the ghost of Sheila behind, but it seemed that some nightmares never truly end. Sheila Carter had spent years plotting and scheming, leaving a trail of destruction in her wake. Her obsession this time, though, was more focused than ever. Her son, Dr. John Finnegan, a son she'd only recently discovered, and who had no interest in having her in his life. The problem was, Sheila wasn't one to take no for an answer. In Sheila's mind, she had convinced herself that all she ever wanted was to be close to her son. Finn was the answer to the redemption she had craved for decades. She painted herself as the victim of circumstances, cruelly denied her chance to be a mother. But deep down, her fixation was much more sinister, a mixture of obsession, possessiveness, and a need for control. It wasn't just about being a mother. It was about bending everyone around her to her will, including Finn. Finn, who had been raised by a loving adoptive mother, Lee Finnegan, had no memory of Sheila in his life. His first encounter with her had been more of a shock than a heartwarming reunion. The stories he'd heard about her were filled with horror and manipulation. His wife, Steffy, had been one of Sheila's prime victims. There was no way he could welcome Sheila into their lives without risking the safety and peace of their family. But Sheila was persistent. The more they pushed her away, the more dangerous she became. Her obsession with Finn intensified, and it wasn't just about reconnecting anymore. It was about proving to everyone, especially Steffy, that she belonged in Finn's life, no matter the cost. Steffy had always been a fighter, a woman who stood tall against every obstacle life threw her way. But Sheila wasn't just another obstacle. She was a force of chaos. Every moment Steffy felt that they could move forward, Sheila would appear, pulling them back into her web of madness. Finn had stood by Steffy, supporting her as they both tried to shield their children, Kelly and Hayes, from the looming threat that was Sheila. Every time she appeared, every time she made a move, Steffi's instincts screamed danger. She knew too well that Sheila wasn't just a troubled woman seeking closure. She was a ticking time bomb. The tension in their home grew palpable. Finn, torn between his newfound knowledge of his biological mother and his responsibility to his family, found himself conflicted. He had always wanted to understand where he came from, but not like this. He couldn't ignore the stories of Sheila's past, and yet a part of him felt a strange pull, a sense of unfinished business between him and the woman who gave birth to him. Sheila knew how to exploit this weakness, always showing up at moments when Finn was vulnerable, feeding into his curiosity and desire for closure. But Steffy saw through Sheila's manipulations. She had dealt with the woman's mind games before, and knew that Sheila was more than willing to hurt anyone who stood in her way. And Steffy feared that, in Sheila's eyes, she was the primary obstacle keeping Sheila from Finn. The true danger came when Sheila realized that manipulating emotions wasn't enough to bring Finn closer. She needed something bigger, something that would shake the foundations of his life and force him to choose. Sheila had always been ruthless when it came to getting what she wanted, and now she was ready to raise the stakes. Her plan was deceptively simple: create a situation so dangerous, so terrifying, that Finn would have no choice but to turn to her for help. Sheila had connections, people who owed her favors, and she wasn't afraid to use them. She orchestrated a scenario that would put Steffy in the line of fire, literally. One evening, after Steffy had spent a long day at Forrester Creations, she was on her way home when her car was forced off the road. She managed to escape with minor injuries, but the message was clear. Sheila was done playing games. She was upping the ante, and Steffy knew it. Sheila had become a predator circling her prey, and no one was safe. The incident terrified Finn. Seeing Steffy hurt and knowing their children could be next shook him to his core. He began to question if perhaps the best way to protect his family was to placate Sheila, at least temporarily. He thought that maybe, if he allowed her some limited access to his life, it would calm her down and prevent further attacks. But Steffy knew better. Giving Sheila any ground would only embolden her. The pressure of the situation began to take its toll on Finn and Steffy's relationship. Finn's internal conflict was tearing him apart. He loved Steffy and their family with all his heart, but he couldn't shake the feeling that Sheila would never stop unless he gave her what she wanted. Steffy, on the other hand, saw only danger in Finn's hesitation. To her, it was clear. Sheila couldn't be reasoned with, and any attempt to appease her would lead to more chaos. One fateful night, Sheila made her boldest move yet. She showed up at Steffy and Finn's house, under the guise of wanting to talk. She begged Finn to hear her out, claiming that all she wanted was a relationship with him and her grandchildren. But as the tension escalated, it became clear that Sheila's true intentions were far more dangerous. A confrontation ensued, emotions running high as Sheila became more unhinged. Finn stood between Steffy and Sheila, torn between protecting his wife and confronting the woman who had caused so much pain. Sheila's desperation reached its peak, and in a moment of madness, she pulled out a weapon, threatening to end it all if she couldn't have what she wanted. The lives of Finn and Steffy hung in the balance as Sheila's dangerous obsession reached its climax. Would Finn and Steffy be able to protect their family, or would Sheila succeed in tearing them apart? As the scene unfolded, it became clear that Sheila's obsession had driven her past the point of no return. Her love for Finn had become toxic, a twisted desire to control his life at any cost. Now, as Finn and Steffy faced their greatest challenge yet, only time would tell if they could emerge unscathed from Sheila's deadly grip, or if their lives would be forever changed by her dangerous obsession.